What is up, YouTube? My name is Eric Johnson, and welcome to my channel. In November of 2019, my partner and I bought a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 1,100 square foot fixer-upper condo in San Diego, California. We spent nearly $40,000 in the entire quarantine doing my first ever DIY home renovation. Throughout the renovation process, I found a passion for creating, and after the year of universal reevaluation that was 2020, we sold the house and I bought a 2020 Ford Transit 148 extended with all-wheel drive so that I could convert it into a full-time off-grid home of my dreams. I'll be documenting and sharing everything about this DIY van conversion. If you'd like to follow along, by all means, hit that subscribe button.
Oh, before we actually do this.
What is up, you guys? In today's video, we're going to be showing you how to install a MaxxFan, actually 2 of them, one at the front and the back of my Ford Transit van. These are all the tools you're going to want to have on hand before you get started with this project. I also have a complete list to everything shown here in the video description below. One thing that you're not seeing here is a plywood board that I would recommend putting up on top as not only a work surface, but also kind of helps protect your van. Some of the specifics, we're using Dicor lap sealant, 3M5200 adhesive, and Dicor's Butyl Tape. So jumping into it, guys, the first step, you really do want to kind of clean the area off. Now, you don't have to use acetone like I did, but using a little bit and wiping it off immediately won't hurt your paint. Now, these roof vent adapters I got from Impact Products on eBay. Again, link in the description down below. I super highly recommend them. They were really handy to help locate exactly where you're going to install it because they do contour to all the various nooks and crannies on the top of your van. So a trick that I learned from woodworking was to just go ahead and lay down basically some painter's tape. The point of the tape is to not only give you like an easy surface to work off of, but you're also less likely to scratch the finished surface. And when you're cutting, it, in my opinion, does help kind of keep the edge just a little bit cleaner.
Oh, before we actually do this.
Yeah, so don't forget to set up kind of like a catch cloth or like a drop cloth underneath where you're going to be cutting out your fan openings. Vacuuming up metal shards is totally miserable, and this probably saves you 10 times as much time compared to the setup. Now, I opted to use a center punch. I don't know if this is 100% necessary, but the point is to help your drill bit find like center so it doesn't kind of walk around on you. And as you can see, I'm drilling these holes inset from the corners of the, what we're cutting out. You really do not want to drill this type of an opening on the actual corner itself. The purpose being is that you want to make sure that you have a nice clean corner and that you're not cutting away too much material.
Oh, wow. Oh, that is so easy. Turning, though. Not really a thing with this.
Yeah, so I tried to use these electric shears thinking that it would just be a much cleaner solution than what everyone seems to use, as the jigsaw, but it turns out there's a reason. Honestly, stick with the jigsaw. Yes, it does make a lot more of a mess with all the metal filings, but it is so much easier to maneuver and make sure that you're actually cutting a straight line. As I found out, and you'll soon see, trying to make a correction to an existing cut with these shears was a horrible idea. So again, just go right for the jigsaw. Don't mess around with the metal shears. It'll save you a lot of time and frustration.
I don't know how I'm going to fix this, but... Wow, so that did not work at all. Should have just stuck with a friggin' jigsaw.
Yeah, so despite bungling things with that metal shears, I was able to go back and fix everything and clean it up quite a bit with the jigsaw, but that obviously then meant I cut everything twice.
Oh, yeah. That sucked. Oh, man, yeah, can you see just how buggered that edge is?
So on this opening, I didn't mess around with the shears whatsoever, just stuck to the jigsaw. It worked perfectly. Though I would suggest, if you're using a jigsaw, just have a vacuum running as you're cutting, and kind of a full-size shop vac is going to do a much better job than the smaller one that I had. Now, as you'll see, what I'm doing is I'm cutting out the kind of long passes, and then I'm going back in and cleaning up the corners. This is the easiest way to do this, so don't stress about cutting your corners perfectly right from the jump. Arguably, I could have kept this drop cloth in place and just filed everything from on top of the roof, but I knew from a filming standpoint that things would look better from underneath. So yeah, you've got quite a bit of filing to do, at least that's what I experienced. But once you get everything cleaned up, you can move on to Rust-Oleum. Now, instead of using a spray can, I opted to use a liquid paint, and then these, I believe they're called foam brushes.
This was supposed to be the faster one.
Oh, Eric, there's nothing fast about DIY van conversions. So now that our primer is dried, we're ready to move on to the glue up. And here I'm just using, again, some alcohol to clean up the area, make sure that it adheres, and then taping off the border so we get a nice clean line. Also, this way we get to peel up more tape later. So for the adhesive for these fan adapters, we're using 3M 5200, which is a marine grade adhesive. Now it does take a full 7 days to cure, so just kind of keep that in mind, but it is a very permanent bond once it cures. And per the recommendation from the installation instructions that came with these adapters, they do recommend kind of applying a little bit of the adhesive around the edge as well. So I went ahead and applied a little extra bead and then cleaned it up with a gloved finger. So satisfying. I then let the 5200 cure overnight and clamped everything down. That allows us to move on to the next step, which is butyl tape.
Oh, come on. Oh no. Oh. Jeez. Nope. No, sorry, Bobbins.
So after a bit of research, I found out that you should actually put your butyl tape in the freezer about 20 minutes or so before you plan on using it. And then if you kind of quickly start the application process, it does help the paper backing separate a lot easier from the butyl tape. So just kind of a quick tip.
Why? Why so much? What are you so angry for? I'm beginning to think that you're just not supposed to press. Every time we press, only bad things happen. Oh yeah, oh come on, please. No. Stop that. Stop that. Oh jeez, come on. You son of a biscuit. Perfect. Actually, wow. Look at you go, Eric. Come on, make Papa proud. Don't be a redheaded stepchild. Oh, come on. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was the best one yet. Oh, this one fits so much better.
So when installing these fan mounting rings, you're going to need a clamp to hold not only the ring, but also both the inside and outside fan adapters. And because of the internal clearance, I found these kind of ratcheting C-clamps to work the best. Now I'd recommend starting with drilling out the corners and then putting in a couple of screws to anchor everything so that it doesn't move as you continue to drill out the rest of the mounting points.
Now, the screws that come with these little painted white caps as opposed to these little button heads, these are for the sides through here, so don't use those.
So with all four corners already screwed in, I'm kind of installing the rest of the screws in sort of like a star pattern, usually crossing to the opposite side. And this is so that you don't end up creating tension with the very last screw relative to the adapter you're installing. So before we can apply the lap sealant, we need to clean up all of the excess squeezed out butyl tape. And so just kind of cutting it away, easiest way to clean it up.
Oh, okay. So again, Dicor, lap sealant, pretty common, is what everyone's using. Yeah, I've still got some left over from the roof mount, roof rack, feet, whatever. Guys, my brain's fried. Let's just get to this. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Don't criticize my horrible Dicoring skills. This stuff is super messy. Never plays nice.
So the best tip I think I can give when it comes to applying Dicor is when you cut the tube, make sure that you do cut the opening about a little larger than 1/8 of an inch, maybe like 3/16, so that it's easier to keep the application accurate, but you're not fighting the entire time just to get material out of the tube.
Oh, I definitely have Dicor all over me. Oh, crap, okay. That would explain why you are so sticky, Eric. You get Dicor all over your hand. Do we have one close? No, not yet. Okay, good. Don't do it ever again.
So I kind of went for a layering approach, starting at the bottom and then adding layer upon layer. And since this lap sealant is self-leveling, it did seem to work out fairly well. But to be honest, I have no idea what like the best approach is. I would just make sure that you don't forget to cover all of these mounting screws when you do it. And then as you'll see, I ended up using a glove finger as well to try and kind of make sure that there wasn't any open spots that didn't have Dicor. I don't know if that helped, but when I peeled everything away, it still looked okay, and I think was beneficial.
Okay, I think it's working. Oh no, that did not work.
Yeah, so even with the finger painting, as you can see, the self-leveling kind of works to your benefit, helps smooth things out. Now, mounting the fan itself is actually the easiest process. Just make sure that you have the electrical wires passing through the opening first. Shout out to Linnea and Akila's channel for that tip. I've also heard on other channels that the female mounting socket, there's like a little clip in there and that it's actually adjustable. I'm not sure if that is true, but I do know that there is also like a rubber gasket on the inside, and if you just kind of put a little pressure, I think that does help to line it up.
There she be. Oh yeah. Oh, it's done. It's done, it's done, it's done. Looks amazing. I just have to clean up all this crap. But I'm finally done, and it feels so good.
Okay guys, thank you so much for sticking around till the end. If you guys are still here, I would super appreciate it if you would give this video a like. It really does help the channel to grow. But let's get into the conclusion and kind of summary as to why I chose the MaxxFans. So first and foremost, the MaxxFan was pretty much a no-brainer to me, purely because it's the only fan on the market right now that you can operate while it's raining. Like you can have it open, pulling in air, exhausting air, whichever direction. It is bi-directional, but you can have it operating while it's raining because of its rain shield. I looked for, you know, maybe half of a second at like the Dometic Fantastic fan, but honestly, as soon as I saw the MaxxFan and the rain shield, that was a done deal for me. As for how long this project took installing my 2 MaxxFans, I worked on this project over the course of 3 days, and I'm estimating it was about 12 to 14 hours in total. And that also includes my screwing up one of my fan cutouts where I tried using those shears. And that obviously includes me filming the entire thing. So for some unexpected obstacles that I ran into, obviously it was using the electric metal shears. That was a horrible idea in my opinion. Another issue that I ran into was they don't currently make a fan adapter for the back of the van, so I did have to modify my fan adapter for that rear location. I had to sand down the adapter just to make sure that it would sit flush where I wanted to install it. So getting into the budget for this project, I am not including the tools that are used, but really it's just the fans, the adapters, the adhesives, drill bits, consumable items, and then kind of just miscellaneous everything else like the drop cloth. All of those items combined, the total project was $906.96 or in relation to my entire estimated conversion budget, it was about 2.5%. So that brings our total project conversion to $2,654.96. If you guys haven't already seen it, you might enjoy watching my previous video, which was installing my Flatline Vanco roof rack. Up next is actually going to be the installation of my Scopima seat swivels. They're already installed, but that video should be coming out, I believe, next week. If you guys have any questions, definitely let me know in the comments. But thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next time. Uh-oh. Hello, this is Eric. We've been trying to get in touch with you concerning your vehicle's extended warranty.
Something in the mail about that warranty, and since we've not gotten a response.
That is seriously the most annoying part about being an adult, is getting all these stupid, we've been trying to get in touch with you about your car's expiring manufacturer warranty. I don't even own the car anymore that they're calling about, so it's like, ugh, just such obnoxious spam. Anyways.